Welcome back to Family Law Assistance. We help you represent yourself in court. We get you the results without the hefty price tag. I am joined today by his own admission. First of all, the only guy that we've got on the team of Family Law Assistance, and as Paul pointed it out, the eldest. And I said that should have come with a badge. And I think you don't get to that age, apparently, to Paul's age, without having the mini beer fridge in the background. God knows how many Santas. You think I'm joking. I'm not. And probably taken on every role known to mankind. You said that you're a proud grandfather. How old's your grandson?
He's 2.
Bless him. He looks gorgeous. He looks like a little cheeky chappy.
He is. He's now managed to develop the I didn't do it. It wasn't me face. He's learning that He's a lover of animals. He loves any animal. We took him to the animal farm, and we couldn't get him away from the horse. He loves animals, any kind of animals, horses. So obviously, I bought him some little wildlife animals, some models that And the first thing he does, as soon as he gets through the door here, straight into his box of animals, out come the animals, and he's talking us through what they do and what the animal noises, and he's great at doing all the noises. So I can definitely recommend grandchildren because they're great to have, and then you can give them back.
But you've been you're a grandparent, husband, been a step parent. So in terms of a family dynamic, you've really kind of been there, seen it, and got the court order, haven't you?
I've been divorced, married twice, happily married now for 15 years. I have to say that because if she watches this,
not sorry.
I'll get severely punished if I don't say happily married for 15 years. Basically, my current situation is I'm a stepfather, but yes, I am also a father. The children that I currently have in my care, the children that are my children, their father left them when shortly after I took up and married my current wife. It's a strange situation because he just virtually disappeared overnight. He asked to see the children and then vanished. He said he was leaving and went the next day, and that's the last the children saw of him. And he didn't really do himself any favors by doing that because he didn't explain why he was leaving. And we were obviously left with 5 bereft children who didn't know what was going on, why the father. And how do you explain that the dad's just upped and left and ceased virtually all connections with them for many years? And we did try reconciliation. We did sort of invite him to sit down with them and to talk through it and explain why he left. And he just didn't seem to be able to verbalize it. He just didn't seem able to understand what the children were going through and the harm that he'd done to them. And following on from that, we went through the situation where they then wanted to change their name to my name because their mum was called Brennan and they were no longer called Brennan. So they wanted to be called. So we had the period where they were known as. And then we decided to go through the formal process of the name change. And we also went through the process of parental responsibility because with the father living hundreds of miles away, the practical thing was if I needed to take one to the hospital, I needed a parental responsibility and needed to be able to make on-the-spot decisions. So yes, I've had interactions with the family courts many years ago, but I know the fun of filling in the forms. I know the fun of interacting with Cass. I know the fun of sitting in front of a room full of people who are deciding your fate. And ultimately, we were successful in that the children are now all called Brennan, and I had parental responsibility. I say had because they're all above the age now. None of them are under the age of 18, so they've all. That is a dim and distant memory.
Wow. But you're no stranger to sort of dealing with emotive issues because your background prior to joining Family Law Assistance, just tell us about that.
Well, for many years, I've been a welfare benefits officer, welfare rights. I help people to claim benefits. We start at the fundamental stage where we will help people to identify what they could be entitled to, and then we will help them to make the claim. We support them through the claim. If the claim is unsuccessful, we will help them to dispute it. And ultimately, we may end up at a tribunal stage where then we have to assist them through that process. But very much like family law assistance, it's a hand-holding process. We don't just leave them to get through this on their own. We help them. If they have to go for an assessment, we will talk to them the day before, even on the day of the assessment, and explain what to expect, what kind of questions they may be asked, and calm them down, reassure them, make sure that they're going in there with a positive attitude so they know what to expect. And many people fail at that first hurdle because they just don't know what to expect, and they get tired of being knocked by someone asking them questions, and they panic and they just go to pieces. Similarly, we will help them with the tribunal stage. If they are going to a tribunal, either on the telephone, video link, it's a nightmare nowadays. It was wonderful when it was just face-to-face hearings. You knew where you stood.
I know, right?
You could read the body language of the people. You could tell. You probably know yourself when you sat in front of a judge or you sat in front of three people who are making a decision. They give little signs away. Some are good poker players, but most of them, they give little signs away, or they'll raise an eyebrow. And because I got to know a lot of the tribunal members, they would raise an eyebrow in appropriate moments to sort of like say, you need to do something about what they've just said. So you start thinking, right, you're making your notes and you think, I've got to do something about that. They've just said that. So it was great when it was face-to-face, and gradually coming back. Nowadays it's telephone and video link is about as good as this is a very good video link, but some video links are absolutely
and you've got all the people. You've got the people trying to get onto the video link as well, like internet connections are dodgy, and it can be a right nightmare, can't it?
They forget to ring you as well, or they forget to include you, and you're just left at the side. And then, unless the actual appellant, as we call them, or the customer, makes sure that the judge knows that we want to be involved, they just go on without them, or they try to persuade them to go on without the representation, which is grossly unfair. But again, it's about, I think, getting numbers through, getting to an end, getting to a solution, try to avoid adjournments, try to get the numbers of appeals down. So yeah, I'm familiar with helping people. I know how people can get upset. I know how people get frustrated. I know that these things take time, and it's easy for us sat on this side saying these things take time. Try to be patient. But with benefits, it's a financial thing. With family law, it's a case of, I've not seen my child for months and months and months. This is getting me down. We need to do something about this. I appreciate that. I'll do the best I can to move it along. We will do everything we can to get you the solution as fast as we can, but there's only so many stones we can shove up a hill before they start rolling back on us.
I love that phrase. So I mean, why family law assistance? Why did you decide to come on board with us lot for your sins?
It came through someone that contacted me for benefits advice and asked, are you connected with family law assistance? I said, no, never heard of them. And I Googled family law assistance, and I thought, oh, this is a fantastic organisation. This is something I would really like to be involved with, because it sort of like dovetails in nicely with what I'm doing already. I've always had an interest in the law, as you can probably tell, and I've got the experience. I've been there. I've got the T-shirt, and I would hope that my experience will help me to help other people deal with similar experiences.
Brilliant. And we are eternally grateful that you're here and you're part of the family, because you've kind of just now really slotted in. How have you found the training? Be nice.
The training is excellent. I can't say praise the training enough. It's done in a very professional but easy to follow way. And I'm at the stage now where I can actually start to give people advice. People are asking me questions, and I can actually say, no, it's not called custody anymore. No, that's the word you don't use anymore. And the form you need to fill in is a C100. So it's stuff, yeah.
It's gone in brilliantly. I got to say that for every week that you were doing homework, it was just bang on time. In fact, perhaps I'm sharing a little too much, but Paul would always do the homework, and there'd be loads of it, and I'd be like, wow, because you'd really taken that case and really gone into depth about what about this, what about that, and totally get it. Is that kind of how you felt when you were doing the homework?
Yeah, it was a case of I tried to be as thorough as possible. It comes from experience, I suppose, with tribunals and looking at bundles of papers and looking for the loopholes, looking for where someone's gone wrong, where something's been misinterpreted, where the facts have just been greyed or not looked at properly. So I'm very forensic in a way. I tend to dig into things. I tend to look beyond the surface facts and dig down and dig deep and try to get to the crux of the problem. What's that phrase you said, Michaela? The thing behind the thing behind the thing behind.
Yeah, no, exactly. We're getting to that root cause of what's really, really going on here. And that often tends to be the key that unlocks quite a lot of stuff, you know, especially when people are going through really emotional scenarios, and they're just filling their kitchen floor with paperwork. I mean, Paul, we've seen this happen, haven't we? You know, people sort of getting overwhelmed with paperwork and what they're doing. How have you found the team? Because, you know,
the team are great. I've had some interactions with Gemma, not so much with George at the moment. Harshida, we've had one or two chats. Gemma and I are getting to know one another. Kim is Kim is Kim.
Kim is Kim. It was nice because we took you out for lunch. You guys out for lunch not so long ago, and it was the first time I think you'd properly got to know each other. I know that we're taking you out again in October to really get to know. But considering, tell the people sort of what the communication, because we talk a lot amongst ourselves, don't we?
We have different ways. Yeah, you set up a little group on Facebook, which is for those people that are learning the ropes. Then there's a main group on Facebook. There's a WhatsApp group. We talk on LinkedIn. In fact, I think my phone's pinging more now than it ever did with with things from family law assistants. It pings. I get emails. I'm getting emails from Dawn, who looks after the admin side, Heidi, who's onboarding us. It's like I get almost as much paperwork as if I was doing a case in the family court, to be honest. It's an email. It's sort of like building up, but it's fun. I have to say, both you and Stephen, your enthusiasm is infectious. Your enthusiasm for this particular aspect of life, family law, it's infectious. I could not recommend you highly enough to anyone that wants to use your service and also wants to become involved with it, because you'll not go wrong. You two are absolutely outstanding.
Thank you. You know, every time I come on and do a live with one of our team, I'm always taken aback. First of all, I've always been super picky with who we have on board with us and who joins the family, because it needs to fall through our ethos. They have to take that ethos on board. I remember when I was doing a live with Harshida, you know, and for those of you that will have seen the live, Harshida comes across as somebody who's really quiet and really demure.
No, she's not. No.
She's not, is she? She's not. She did a mic drop moment after she told me of all the social rights stuff that she'd done back in India. And I'm thinking, I'm normally fairly clued up when I do lives with people, and you just drop this mic. I thought, wow, she's one to watch. And you're the same. So thank you so much. I got to say that training you and training Harshda and of course Kim, an absolute pleasure. One of the things I love about you is your attention to detail. And in case, guys, you haven't realised, Paul's wit is second to none. I think when I met you for the first time, like actually in person, not as a kind of from this up, and when I saw you in person, one of the first things I realised about you, that you've just got it. You're sort of just, you come back with the comebacks quicker than like yesterday. So
it's my age. It's an age thing. It's
I want to talk about, though, because one of the things we really, really celebrate here at Family Law Assistance is you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people want you. And part of having that arm around the shoulder that you're there is knowing all of the facts that you're just a human being with foibles and quirks like everyone else. Everyone knows that I'm crazy cat lady. Paul's crazy Santa guy. How many Santas have you got, Paul?
Now, it's a good question. I think it's 29. It's 29. It started off with one or two, and then it was a case of I'd go out and see a Santa and buy a Santa. And then my wife made the fatal mistake of saying, don't keep buying Santas. Don't bring any more Santas in this. Oh, right, okay. So now that's a challenge. That's a challenge, of course. So it then just become a long-running joke and a long-running saga that I'll just buy Santas. The stuff's under the stairs at the minute. It's not suitable to have them out when it's not Christmas. So every Christmas, they all get trotted out. And one day she came home. She said, "You bought any more Santas?" "Oh, there's no more Santas." "What's this in the toilet?" "Oh, I forgot about that." He was sat there next.
So it's part of this. You like a challenge. If someone tells you no, you think,
In certain circumstances, if someone says, don't do that, and I can see it to be able to get a rise out of it and a bit of humour out of it, then I'll do it. But now it's just become a long-running joke between myself, the wife, and the kids. Don't go out and buy any more Santas. Has he bought another? He's not come back with another Santa. And I'll sneak them in behind the others. So I'll get them all lined up, and then I'll get a small one, sneak it in behind the other, and see if they can find it, see if they can spot it, see if it's... But yeah, I like collecting Santas. Unfortunately, the wife's now cottoned on, and she's decided she's starting to collect nutcrackers.
Oh.
So we now have a competition. She's not caught up yet, so we're going to run out of space. I mean, the Santas make their way up the stairs. They're on the landing. They're on the stairs. They get in the toilet. I had one in the kitchen last year. The nutcrackers are sort of like migrating out of the living room bit by bit as well.
So at Christmas time, I'm just trying to picture the scene, honestly, in your house. Is it like a Santa off?
Yeah. It's like a mini grotto. You can't move for Santas. Yeah.
Oh.
And the thing, the problem is they keep falling over and they keep getting dusty. But yeah, it's fun. Yeah, I mean, we like Christmas. It's a bit of fun. Yeah.
I got to be honest. I'm a Christmas kind of gal myself. So in terms of anyone that's going through court right now, what would you say would be your top 3 tips for anyone that's going to court?
Get advice. Keep calm. Keep calm and be patient, and make sure you know what you want. Don't go in there without an idea of what you want, because if you don't have an idea of what you want, then you may come out with exactly the opposite of what you did intend to go in with. So you need to appreciate this is going to take time, but you need a clear idea of what you want, and that's what obviously we can help you to narrow down the issues and decide what you want to get out of the process. But you need help. You need someone to give you the support to help you get through the system, because otherwise you can find that the system grinds you down. You can find that the system, people expect the legal system and the court system to work for them a lot of the time, and it does ultimately, but in its own strange little ways. And if you're not sure of what you're doing, you can suddenly find yourself overwhelmed and with all the paperwork, and people then just give up because it's a case of, okay, cool, I can't handle it. I've had it. I'm out of this. And that's a shame, because with just a little bit of help, a little bit of support, a little bit of reassurance, that mountain of paperwork becomes a lot smaller and a lot easier to deal with.
I couldn't agree with you more, Paul. And what would you say would be the top tip for anybody who was thinking of joining family law assistance as part of the family?
Do it now. Don't just do it. If you think it's for you, and if you want to, make a difference, you want to help people, you want to do something that's rewarding, that will give you satisfaction at the end of the day, and also probably a hell of a lot of frustration as well when you're banging your head against the wall. But do it. If you think it's for you, talk to Michaela and Stephen and do it. Don't hesitate. Just do it.
Perfect. And as far as I'm going to pick on you, Paul, but I want to know, because I'm an ex-debt collector, an ex-benefits review officer. So in terms of dealing with awkward people and awkward scenarios, I got it covered. But so it's really nice to have somebody on the team that also has a similar background. So I want to say, what's the most awkward situation you've had?
Let's have a think. I remember one particular tribunal. I went with a gentleman who had he liked to tipple. Let's be subtle about it. He liked to tipple. And I said to him, look, at the end of the day, you need to explain to this tribunal that you do like to have a drink. And when we got there, he arrived with his bike. He brought his bicycle. And I said, why did you brought? Well, I came in on my bicycle. It's coming in with me. I said, you can't take your bicycle into the tribunal. I'm taking it in with me. Right, final. So I thought, well, at least then the tribunal can get some insight into the way his mind works and the way, So I said, he won't come in unless he brings his bike. Okay, let me bring it. Because the tribunal's a little less formal than the court. So, yeah, bring him in. So we sit down, he starts talking to the tribunal, and then he starts getting a bit aggressive with them. And he basically, he said, right, sorry. And he gets his bottle of vodka out of his bag, starts swinging, says, I've had enough of you. I'll not repeat the profanity. Has a swig, picks his bike up and buggers off.
Oh my God. They're going, what just happened there?
They awarded it a bit. He actually won his appeal. Because I knew him, I was able to explain a bit more background and fill in a couple of the blanks and explain why he behaved like that and why his history was like that. And we had some medical evidence, but he was a fantastic character. But you just have to be able to think on your feet and deal with situations like that, and just expect the unexpected sometimes, because that it can catch you out the blue. You can prepare as much as possible. Another example is I always talk to customers beforehand, like yourself. I like not so much script them, but talk to them, explain the kind of questions that are going to be asked, and the best way to answer it, rather than umming and ahhing and saying, well, not really, and I might have, and things like that. Don't be vague, keep it simple, straightforward answers. So I sat down with this chap and said, right, have you been on any holidays in the last 12 months? Because you will get asked about that, because how you call it holiday, excuse me. And he said, no, not been on holiday for years and years. No, not been anywhere. Okay, fine. Go to the tribunal. Now you can guess what the question was. Have you been on holiday? I went to Spain last year. What? What? Well, okay. So we get out, and he turned around and said, how did I do? How did I get on? Do you really want me to tell you?
In some scenarios, I've sort of said to people way back when, and they sort of say that, I sort of, when you're lost for words and you're searching for a diplomatic way to put this, and I'll sometimes say, well, so how do you think it went?
Yeah. You've got to be diplomatic. I tell people straight at the end of it, I said, look, you went in there and you said this, which really didn't help your case, it hindered it. But, we again, it's thinking on your feet. You've got to be ready to deal with it. Right. You've got to expect the unexpected, but sometimes the unexpected can just catch it completely out of the blue. There's only one occasion when I actually, I won't say deserted, but sort of like resigned in the middle of a tribunal. And we started late at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and by 7:30 at night, this particular customer hadn't shut up. She was just trundling on and trundling on. The tribunal were getting tired of her, and she was just trundling out. And I said, can I have a 5-minute adjournment? I went and said, look, you're not helping. Talking. I'm not interested. I'm going to carry on. I said, look, I can't help you anymore, because you're not taking my advice. You're not helping yourself. You're not on the tribunal. I said, I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to step down from this. And I just went back and said, I'm leaving. I can't help this person. And I left. Yeah. But that's the only one occasion that I've done that. Because after 4 hours, it was.
Yeah, and that's the thing, isn't it? You've got to have your lines, and sometimes we're telling people what they need to hear, not what they want to hear, and that doesn't always make us the popular choice. Sometimes, does it?
I mean, there can be some cases where you have to be honest with the customer. Say, look, you haven't really got. You're not gonna get what you want out of this. You need to be realistic, as you say in the training with the sanity check. You've got to be realistic. Decide what you want. But also have a fallback position. Think, well, if I don't get that, I'll be happy with this. And you've got to be realistic. I mean, you can get people's hopes up, and I think it's unfair sometimes to raise expectations about what you can't actually achieve.
Right. Yeah, I absolutely agree. Sometimes I always used to say to people, oh, I sort of fell into family law by accident, but I'm a lot older and wiser to know that isn't always the case. And like you, Paul, I like a challenge.
Oh, I love a challenge, yeah.
Paul, thank you so much.
That's all right. Thank you for talking.
Guys, put any comments in the comment section below. And Paul, I'm so glad that you're part of this family. And guys, watch this space, because I think he's going to take the whole world and everyone else by storm. Thank you so much, guys, and have an amazing rest of your day.